There are some chairs up in the front row, 2 over there, and at least 5 over that, 6 over that side. It's like church, you can move to the front. Nobody wants to sit in the front row. There you go.
She's on the safety committee.
All right, I have 7 o'clock. I'm going to call the town board meeting for October 20th, 2025 to order. First item on the agenda is the approval. Patrick, changes?
None from staff, Mr. Chair. We'll have a comment under consent agenda when we get there, though.
All right, board have anything?
Not to add or delete.
Me either.
All right, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
May we'll have to have a small added item involving a license agreement. Agreement we'll discuss later. It'll only take a few minutes.
You want that added at towards,
Under the added agenda,
okay.
What was that for, Chad?
cabin 61.
Okay,
I'll move to approve the agenda as amended, adding the item under added agenda items 10.9.1.
I'll second.
all right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that motion carries. Item 3 is approval of payment of the bills. Steve, you sign?
I signed, move to approve payment of the bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, then I need a motion for prior minute meetings. Let's see, it's October 6th.
Mr. Chair, I have a correction that I'd like to add on page 5. First item, first paragraph on that page, it says that I brought up the liability insurance certificate, noting that the event occurred after the date of liability. That is not clear. In my opinion, it should read after the expiration of coverage. Add that versus how it's written. And
Okay. Got
Patrick,
it.
has that been corrected already, or?
We can correct.
No, I mean, the correction in the liability insurance.
Yep.
Okay.
so they fixed that part, just need to have the minutes say that that's what I stated. So that's,
Right.
that's
That's
good.
Steve?
That's it on that. So I'll move, I have no other changes.
I have no other changes.
I'll move to approve the town board minutes with that correction on page 5.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? All right, that motion carries. Item 5 is a consent agenda. We have 3. I understand, Steve, you want to pull?
I want to pull for a discussion, item 1B. There's a typographical error in there.
5B.
5B, excuse me.
And staff would like to pull 5A, or just a correction in address.
All right, then I need a motion just to approve consent agenda item 5C.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, what do you got, Patrick, on the right-of-way permit?
Dale, you want to make that correction real quick?
The address list is 5203 Summit. It should be 5206.
Is that it?
Yes.
All right, I need a motion to approve that, noting that amendment.
So moved.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, and then item 5B, Beller Beach. You have a,
Yes, on page 14 of the packet, in the purpose and terms of the agreement, it says the YMCA staff shall provide lifeguard services for Memorial Day weekend, May 23rd, 2025, to Labor Day, September 7th, 2026. I believe that should be May 23rd, 2026,
Good catch.
since this is a 26 contract. That's it.
that it?
That's it.
Got anything about it?
Nope.
All right, I need a motion to approve 5B as amended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, item 6, we don't have any old business. Item 7 is a public hearing. I know we have a bunch of folks here, and we have 3 separate public hearings. I just want to remind everyone, this is going to get long and lengthy, so if you have comments that you want to speak to these items, we're going to try to limit everybody to 3 minutes, just to be respectful, so everybody gets a chance to speak. Also, I'm going to have Chad explain, if you disagree with assessment numbers, what the process is to appeal that. And then I'll also have Mr. Kelly, our finance officer, explain how we arrive at our numbers through bonding. So Chad?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to remind you, but it's in your notice, that if you intend to appeal your assessment, you have to file an objection with the town prior to the meeting. Now, the town has taken a more lenient view of that. If you file an objection before the vote is taken, we will acknowledge that you filed your objection. You have to do that if you intend to appeal your assessment. Now, in terms of appealing the assessment, if the assessment is adopted, you have 30 days to serve an appeal on the town and then file the appeal with district court. That should all be in your notice, but I just want to make sure we go through this. So again, and by the way, in the past practice has been we've simply passed, I think we've been passing something around if you want just to appeal your assessment. Just sign it, make sure to provide your property address so we know which one you are, and we'll treat that as being an objection as required by the statute. Okay? Any questions? All right.
Also, too, I want to remind you, too, when you want to speak, you must come to the podium and give your full name and address for the minutes. And then we don't want talk between the audience. We'll never pick it up on camera, so. All right, Tom?
Okay, how we came up with it, the town, we had the 3 projects. We issued $4,390,000 in bonds for these projects. The coupon on the bond, it was a 10-year bond. The coupons run from 5% down to 4%. Because we received a discount on the bonds based on our bond rating and everything, the township has a bond rating of AA1 from Standard & Poor's and a AA plus from Moody's. Both of those are one step below AAA, which is the best you can have. So based on that, the average coupon of these bonds is basically 4.8%. Because when we issue bonds, each year that there's a debt payment, the town has to have 105% of that annual payment. And so because of that, the town has a policy that when they do the assessments, they assess 1.5% over whatever our average bond coupon is. So with a 4.8% coupon, adding 1.5% gets you to the 6.3% interest that the assessments are at.
Okay, any questions from the board? All right, so we're going to move on. Item 7, this is the public hearing. The first one is the Anderson Lane street improvements. I need a motion to waive the reading.
I'll make a motion to waive the reading that was properly published in the newspaper.
Second.
Motion made, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Then I need a motion to open up the public hearing.
I'll move to open up the public hearing for the Anderson Lane Project 2024-3.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, what we'll do is Larry will review the project, and when he's through and with all our questions are done, we will open it up for public comment, so we can try to keep this going pretty smoothly. All right, Larry, you want to review this one for us?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair and Town Board. The first of our 3 projects we're discussing tonight is Anderson Lane. Anderson Lane is a short cul-de-sac roadway off of Centerville Road. And you can see that on your screen where it's located. Now this project, the roadway itself didn't have concrete curb and gutter. It was a rural section. And we looked at various options through the feasibility report back last year. And we recommended a reclamation with new curb and gutter for the roadway. I had a few pictures of some of the construction activities that were occurring. The picture on the right is of the reclamation machine mixing and grinding that bituminous to use as new base for the roadway. You see the grader grading some of that. We did some drainage improvements on the project, and you can see some of that work occurring on here. We're still working through some drainage concerns in the neighborhood, but those are still being worked out. Again, you can see the grader there. Here's a new curbing going in. We had some tie-ins with driveways, so if a concrete driveway was impacted, we replaced that section with new concrete. If it was bituminous, we paved bituminous. And here's some pictures of the paving operations. This is the first one is at the cul-de-sac, and the other paving occurring there. So next steps for the project itself is we're still completing some restoration. Even today they were doing some of that work in the rain. We're planning to do the final lift of asphalt. The plan is to get that completed on Wednesday of this week to pave that final lift. And then from there, it'll be just final cleanup, working out some of the resident concerns if there's issues. If you have any construction-related items, please contact us or the project inspector with your concerns. If you're seeing something that doesn't look right in your yard or driveway, or you're seeing something else that you think should be addressed, please contact us and we'll add it to our list of things to correct. For these types of projects, there's what's called a punch list, where we add those to a list and we try to chip away at things, but it's not uncommon for some of these items to go into next year to get finalized and completed. In order to kind of protect that new investment here for the street, we've been doing a chip seal then after about 3 years. It helps prolong the life of that pavement. So you can see that in 3 years, and that's not an assessed, it's a maintenance, classified as a maintenance operation, so it's not assessed, but it's protecting that surface for long term. And we're doing more and more chip seals on our streets as they can accept them. And it just helps protect that surface over the long term. All right, so we're going to talk a bit about the assessments. For assessment type projects, we have to follow a very specific process, and this kind of lays out all the steps we need to do to assess on these types of projects. And we're kind of getting to the end of our list of items, and tonight is the assessment hearing. So I'll walk through some of the numbers. We have project costs laid out here, including construction, some of the inspection and engineering, some administration costs, legal, bonding, some miscellaneous costs, and some of the soil borings, televising, and delineations. And then an appraisal was also completed of the project as well. So the assessments follow the town's assessment policy, and so and the state statute. So our proposed assessments are to the benefiting properties. The town uses a unit assessment in which every property is assessed the same amount, and then the number of units can fluctuate depending on what could be classified as could be subdivided. So in some cases, on all three projects, there's properties that were felt in talking with the town planner that have the area and frontage to be subdivided in the future. So, and then the other piece of that number of units is corner properties are assessed a half a unit for each improved side. Throughout the evolution of the township projects, historically the town has been using an assessment that assesses as much as we can, feeling that the benefiting properties are seeing the bulk of the benefit of doing the improvements. And overall, the amount of the assessments have gone up, but the costs for the projects have also gone up as well. So from an overall percentage, our assessment percentage is continuing to decline as construction costs rise. Again, the assessment can't exceed the benefit received, and we tested that with an appraisal that evaluated what benefit should that be, and we used that assessment by an appraiser to determine what that assessment amount should be. And in this case, for Anderson Lane, the benefit was determined to be 12% or $12,000 per unit. All right, so this is the assessment map for the project. All the properties that we feel are benefiting from the improvement are shown on this map. And I want to highlight a few things here. So this is a corner lot. It gets assessed a half unit, and then it was determined it could be subdivided. So 1.5 units for this corner lot here off of Centerville Road. On the other side of the street, it looks like it's similar area for the property. However, there's wetland at the corner, and so that was determined not to be buildable. So we are proposing an assessment of 1 unit for that property. We evaluated this property at the end to determine how many units should be applied. And for this case, the cul-de-sac kind of ends right here at the end of this, at the start of these properties. Evaluating some of the...
Hey, Larry, I don't think your mouse is showing up on the screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh. At the end of the cul-de-sac, we evaluated, again, a desktop review of the wetlands and determined that between those two parcels that are shown as 0, it's 1 unit. During the feasibility report process, we took the data from the county on properties along this frontage and calculated 19.5 units. As we further evaluated through the process and leading up to this assessment hearing, one of those units was removed. It's the unit just to the north of 1141. That property is also 1141 to the north, and it's owned by one individual for both parcels. But that parcel to the north doesn't have frontage, so, and there's a lot of wetland on that property as well, and so that property was removed as we move forward to tonight. And we can come back to any one of these slides. Okay, so this is a summary of the overall assessments. And so the overall project costs, you can see, were $789,500. And taking out costs for storm water improvements, the sanitary sewer improvements, and water, the overall accessible costs were found to be $587,000. Again, those accessible units, 18.5. Multiply that by the assessment rate of 12,000, and you get $222,000 for the total assessment for the project. The assessment term, if you elect to have the assessment roll onto your taxes, your property taxes, it'd be on there for 10 years. And again, as Tom mentioned, the 6.3% interest rate over that period. And so this is a payment schedule for that. And so using the 12,000, 6.3% over 10 years, you're paying a principal on equal principal each year of $1,200 and plus interest each year. And that interest amount drops as you pay off principal. And so the total each year is shown here on the on the total column, rolling down. The first year includes interest starting from tonight. And so there's a little bit more interest on that first year. It includes all of 2026 and then 3 months of 2025. All right, here's the funding breakdown. The township funds, $365,000. You can see the assessments of 222. The water improvements, the work done on the project for water main. You can see that amount, 28,000. Storm sewer improvements, 155,000, and sanitary improvements of 18,000.
Just to be clear, go back one, Larry, that those last three, those are enterprise funds. So when you pay your water bill or your sewer bill or your sanitary, those funds, that's where that money is coming from. So it's like, I don't want to say a kitty, but it's set up just for this reason. So when we have these projects, we can help fund the projects out of those funds. Okay.
So tonight, the requested action is hold the assessment hearing. And then there's a resolution in your packet for adopting and confirming the assessment amount for this project. And in this case, we need a supermajority for that resolution, meaning 4/5 of the vote needs to confirm adoption of that assessment. So in this case, it'd be all three board members. That's what I have for you. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Steve?
Nope, I think we've been over this a number of times, and you covered the items that our board meeting the last time. There were some resident concerns, and I think there was a list made, and I assume most of those were already all addressed.
Yeah, I don't know that they're all addressed, but we're still working with those property owners on resolution.
Okay, and you're willing to add other items tonight that are still on your post list?
Yep.
Okay, no, I'm fine.
Beth?
Nope, I'm good.
You want to go back to there was some issue on storm drainage. If you want to go back to that map. I understand that you're working through it, but we still have some concerns. This is going into a wetland going north. Is that where the issue is?
Yes, I'm sorry, my mouse doesn't work there, but it's between 1141 and 1155. There's a drainage path kind of more on the 1141 property and heads north into a wetland area. And so we're working with, as we discussed at the last town board meeting with the residents, there's concern over that drainage area, and so we're continuing to work with the property owners on that.
Okay, you had mentioned there's either wetland or it's not really a stormwater retention pond back there, is there?
No, it's more of a wetland.
And that's just not filtering the water? Is that why it's backing up?
It's appears to be the vegetation appears to have choked the drainage path to it's slower drainage than maybe it has drained in the past in that area.
All right, because as a representative of the township, I sit on the board of directors for Velamo, and I do have a meeting Wednesday night, so I want to make sure I want to bring this up to them so we can get that on the radar with those folks, because they're the ones that are going to have to address this as part of the watershed district. So, but I'll have that information and I'll be able to advise staff on what we can come up with. So if that's part of your concerns of Anderson Lane, some of it's out of our township hands, but we still are working on that problem. So just want to make sure that we haven't forgot about it and we are trying to work through it. So, all right, no more questions from the board?
No.
All right, hearing none. I need a motion to open up for public comment.
I'll move to open the hearing up for public comment.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? All right, if you want to address this, like I said, you need to come up to the podium with your name and address. We're going to try to keep this to a 3-minute limit because we got a lot of people here, so I don't want to see anybody rant for an hour. But we do want to hear from everyone, so That too, and I'd like to make sure you keep your comments specific. I don't want to hear 20 people talk about drainage. We're working on that, so,
Yeah, no, I understand that.
okay, appreciate it.
My name's Patrick Olson. I live at 1141 Anderson Lane. The property that's in question here, and again, I've talked to Larry a number of times about this. Hopefully we can come to some solution to that problem. I'm hoping that we can. One of the things that I wanted to bring up is because there's so many projects being involved, last board meeting, 3 more feasibility studies were approved and projects are going forward. And there's a few things that we've experienced on Anderson Lane which have been disheartening at best. And for anybody that's watching or is going to see this, I just wanted to make note. There's a number of things that I don't know who's in charge of overseeing day-to-day operations as this stuff is going on. I mean, there has been just one thing after another problems with this thing. We had water truck on the block for most of the time. No water was being spread. The dust was unbelievable on that road. The parking was not addressed. The solution that somebody came up with was that all 18.5 homes were going to park in the turn lane on Centerville Road. And that's unacceptable on about 1,000 levels. That just wouldn't work. So the residents were left finding parking during this time. The trash, since I've lived there almost 19 years, comes on Wednesday. Everybody knows it comes on Wednesday. I think something has to be done in coordination. I understand some things come up where you're going to block the road, but coordination has to be there so people's lives aren't disrupted. And moving trash cans up and down the entire block, I can understand one side or the other, whatever. The mail got moved out to, we were told early on that it was going to remain in front of the homes. It got moved out to Centerville Road. Again, anybody that's familiar with that area, Centerville Road is not a good place for people to be walking out to get their mail, not on 1,000 levels. The one thing that really stuck out to me when I looked at the meeting minutes and what we were going through tonight is that the projected cost when we came to the meeting in January was going to be $961,100. It came in here at $789,500, okay, which is $171,600 under, and yet we're still at the same thing because of the appraisals. I get where you're going with that, but at some point we got to start talking about some savings here, rather than this is status quo and this is how much things are going to cost. The barrel's running dry with ever increasing taxes, everything that's going on. It just feels like a rubber stamp. Just boom, we're going to do it, and that's it. Now, obviously, I'm going to be contesting the appraisal, due in part to the drainage issues and some of the digging and some of the things that went on there. And again, I'm not going to go into that. We'll discuss that at a later time. But there has to be a little bit more control on what is going on in people's neighborhoods. This was unbelievable. And I'll be anxious to hear from whomever on the delineation report that was done by the watershed. And then I hope it happens in the window where either I don't contest it or do, so it gives me a little bit of wiggle room on that too.
Well, I
I
don't know
just
if I
should
can-
not do that.
I don't know if I can promise that. That's a big hurdle for, the way government works.
I do, and I understand that, and I appreciate that. I really do. But if it were to happen that way, it might save a lot of monkey business and heartache for a lot of people. Legal action, whatever you want to call it. Larry, I hope that we can continue to have conversations to try to resolve some of the issues that we have. I think there's some other people on the road that probably can expand on some of the things that I mentioned. And thank you for your time.
Thanks, sir.
Dave Sell, 1155 Anderson Lane, so I'm right next to Pat's property there too. Agree with everything Pat has said through this whole thing. There's a lot of issues that happened in the midst of this project that were just unacceptable. All of the things that Pat mentioned, so I won't go into that again. I do want to bring up one point. The drainage is a much larger issue than just the drainage between 1141 and 1155. That needs to be addressed. It's a bigger issue than that. So is the town call, are you guys aware of that?
That's why we rely on our engineers.
Okay, well, the engineers didn't do an assessment on the front end of this project. That's the problem. So that's part of our concern.
I can't speak for that.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. The issue is larger than this. There's drainage continuing all the way across my property, 1155. That if that water backs up in the drainage, one of the issues is going to be backed up all the way across my property.
Larry, where does that break? I know it crowns both ways. It drains east one way and then west the other. Any idea where that break is?
Yeah, it's kind of where Anderson, the Anderson in Anderson Lane on the map.
But what house number?
Break that goes, yeah, 1131. So from the cul-de-sac to 1131, it drains to that low point there.
Okay.
And then heads north.
All right. Anything else, sir?
Nope, that's it. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Anyone else for Anderson Lane?
Hi, I'm Josh Farmer, 1140 Anderson Lane. What I want to mention, there's a fire hydrant in our front yard. If you look at the fire hydrant in comparison to where the surmountable curb is, it's actually like below where the collar is for the attachment for the hose. So it feels like that needs to be elevated. There's no break off collar, it's subgrade. So like that should be lifted in some capacity.
Dale, are you aware of that one?
Yes, and it can be lifted, but it's been that way for a number of years. And the road grade, Larry, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't change that much from before, the height.
Well, I would encourage you to come out and take a look at that again.
No,
Dale, after the dirt and the sod was just laid today, it is below the curb height. So if a car hits that, what happens to that?
Yeah.
There's no break off collar on there.
Well, there is a break off at grade.
Below grade.
It might be, I don't know how far below grade.
Well, you should look at that again. I encourage you to come and look at it. Yep, it's Public Works job. The other thing I want to mention, just kind of adding on to what Pat had mentioned earlier too, every Wednesday we have trash service. And so I actually called Sarah this morning because we have a major delivery coming this Wednesday on Anderson Lane, same day as trash. And I hear from you because Sarah told me this morning at 9 o'clock there's no issue with the delivery date. And now I hear final lift is Wednesday. It's trash day again. Every trash day is impacted every Wednesday. So we've had to scramble to try to coordinate to just get garbage service. And I'm really frustrated with trying to coordinate my major delivery coming on Wednesday. So there should be access on our road. Like I know that the final lift's occurring, but I would encourage you to push that date back, hopefully Thursday if possible, so we can get trash service, we can get all deliveries scheduled, because we've been trying to be accommodating with the workers and the construction timeline too, but I'm going to be seriously impacted if I can't just get this delivery on Wednesday. So thank you.
Thanks, Josh. Mr. Hauge.
Hello, Mark Hauge, and I'm here representing North Oaks Farms. We are the owners of the Zero Anderson Lane properties. And first of all, I want to thank you for the work that was done. It looks great. And I'm going to give you a letter here just stating that we want to appeal until we can be certain that it is in fact a buildable lot. And if it is a buildable lot, we're more than happy to pay our fair share of the assessment. So I'll just give you that letter. And again, thank you for the improvements.
Right here.
Come on.
Come on
Here you go,
over.
Mark. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
One last thing, I'd be happy to collaborate with the township to try to find a solution to the drainage issue if it involves our property to the north. So I'll just make that offer.
We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you.
Hello, my name is Matthew Svensson at 1156 Anderson Lane. Some of my questions, I mean, I have several. I'm not going to belabor some of the points that my neighbors have made already, but some of mine are more technical in nature. I believe you said that the bonds were discounted, which is why there's a 4.5% to 5% coupon, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so why then at 105% is it 6.3%? Because that is not then, if it's discounted, 105% of the initial amount?
It just makes up that one, it helps make up the 105% that we have to collect each year on it. The town, a number of years ago, even before we started these the 10-year road project, adopted an assessment policy, and the assessment policy at that point stated that we would assess projects at 1.5% over whatever we issue the bonds at, or if we don't issue bonds, it would still be 1.5% over as if we did.
Okay, so it doesn't matter that par is not
No.
being hit, it's and discounted. Okay. Second question I have, there has been amendments to this project that have been made. Obviously, we've already talked about the 900 and some thousand that was the initial cost versus the 700 and some that this came in at. Those don't impact the assessed value you assessed prior to and did not assess after the fact. And who is doing this assessment? Where is that person coming in? Where are they getting their numbers? Are you paying that person? Because that sounds like conflict of interest. I just want to know how that works.
Yeah, I can speak to that. So, yeah, so we hire an appraiser to evaluate that so we can feel confident in the assessment amount. And so the variation in cost doesn't really affect that. The town board's assessment policy is trying to maximize what those assessments are for these projects to the benefiting property owners.
Okay.
We do that as a check, and then as if you do appeal and all the way through, there's a process that you would perhaps hire your own appraiser to determine if you agree with our appraiser's information.
Absolutely. And so my question then becomes, you don't think that it's a conflict of interest to hire your own assessor, someone that you are paying, hoping that they may get future contracts to get a higher assessed value?
Chad, do you want to speak to that?
Okay, if I understand what you're saying is, you think it's a conflict of interest for the town to hire an appraiser to determine what the assessment should be?
Yes.
That's actually very good practice, because if the appraiser states that the amount we intend to assess for is actually above the benefit, then we need to lower that benefit, because again, under the law, anytime the assessment exceeds the amount of actual benefit, and benefit is defined by increase in value of the property, then the assessment is a taking. So the point of doing an appraisal ahead of time, is to make sure that we're not assessing above the benefit. And no, it's not a conflict of interest, because we'll have, hang on. Because if you appeal it, the town will hire an appraiser to look at your properties.
You're going to hire another appraiser?
We'll might use the same one, but we will have, understand that these appraisals aren't that expensive, because it's an area-wide appraisal. However, each individual appeal will require an appraisal.
Okay, fair enough.
Properly defended.
My question, and this is where I think you and I are missing, is the town is hiring. There's no general fund that the town can pay to have someone else hire an independent appraiser. You're hiring your own appraiser to come through and put the assessment on.
Okay. If you appeal it, if anyone appeals it,
When, yes.
we can win. Okay, fine, when? There will be a court trial. And at that court trial, both sides should, especially the town, will have to present expert testimony regarding the increase in value. That requires an appraiser hired by the town. So the best thing to do is to determine ahead of time whether we are on the right track, and that's what we did. Most cities don't do that, and I think it's a bad practice, because you run the risk of assessing more than the benefit, and it's better to know ahead of time to save the town the cost of an appeal. So ultimately, in each one of these appeals, there will be appraisers. We will have one, the town will have one, and the homeowner should have one. So there's no conflict of interest there. I mean, that's what we have to do. You appeal it, we have to defend it. And the only way to defend these things properly is to hire an appraiser to actually appraise each individual property separately.
I want it on the record. I am not saying that it is bad practice to have an appraiser come through prior to a project. I think that is good practice. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think it's bad practice for the assessing municipality to be the one hiring that assessor.
Well, let me ask you this question. Who should hire it?
I'm not in the government. I don't know.
Well, the government has to. Okay, again, I got to be honest with you.
Is fair versus the conflict of interest in you being the ones that are appraising that value assessing that value, and now we're on the hook for it.
Well, there is no other, there's no other
You have not
source of
explored
a,
another method. I understand.
There
that.
is no-
Okay, thank you. That's it. That's all I need.
okay. I think we just agree to disagree is what it comes down to. Fair enough.
And these appraisers they're certified,
Yes.
they're professionals.
Totally understand. I get that. I just, the hiring agency should not be the one.
Well, the county won't do it, I'll tell you that.
All right, my 2 cents. When we go out for bids on anything, this road project, we had engineers' numbers that we thought should be in the ballpark. We go out, put it out for bids. We get 10 bids. If they come under, great. I don't know if we can just put out a public bid for assessors. That's our only option, that now we have to have people bidding to get the assessment. I don't know if I want somebody bidding to do our assessments. I would like some, we need professional certified appraisers, so. Well, like I said, all I'm saying is I feel that the town is more within their rights in the way they do it, and I don't see any conflict of interest. Anyway, anyone else?
Derek Brunson, 1114 Anderson. Like a lot of my other neighbors were touching, the $12,000 is a lot of money on the project. We've heard the city has gotten grants from the state this year. Just wanted to ask how that money was getting spent. $7 million to the board.
That's a one-time payment to the township, whereas our surrounding communities get, case of White Bear Lake, they get, what, $2 million a year?
2.5 a year.
2.5 a year. We get one time, $7 million. So we've taken that $7 million and devised a formula on how to spend that on every single project. What we end up doing is trying to take that money and dispersing it across all the residents, because everybody benefits from your road improvement, my road improvement, and that's how that money's spent. And hopefully we can run that for 20 years.
Sure. And how was it applied on these projects?
Maybe you can speak to that, Tom.
Yeah, I'll take that one. When we issued the bonds, we asked our bond fiscal agent to run the numbers as if we didn't have those funds. And then based on the, I don't know if it's policy or what the board has, how the board has determined to spend those funds, which is basically to take the interest we earn each year plus half of that interest amount. So you're basically doing 150% of the interest that you earn in a year and apply it to that. So for this bond issue, it was basically just over $357,000. So we had them run the numbers without the 350, or for the full amount. Then we had them run the numbers subtracting 357. So we issued the bonds less the 357, which then saves us, the town and the residents, principal and interest payments. That difference for this particular project will total about $467,000, just over $467,000. And we're using that to reduce, when Larry showed the slide with the town portion, that 356 portion there, we use that to lower that amount so that we're not levying property taxes on all the residents of the township. So we're basically, over the life of this bond, we're basically reducing our levy to the residents to pay off this particular bond issue about $50,000 a year.
And the board felt that was the only fair way to take this money and use it financially, fiscally responsible, so all the town benefits from this.
No. Like I said, it's just a very expensive process, and just wanted to hear where it was getting.
You know what? We all live in the township, and we all eventually get assessed.
Absolutely.
And some of them are a lot more. Trust me.
Yeah. And the other thing I just wanted to touch base on again, like a lot of my neighbors here, you know, and even the ones that aren't affected, we are concerned with the watershed issues that are there. They are larger than what they seem. You know, we're hearing rumors that they might be like not approved by the water district and stuff. And you know, what are the plausible solutions there?
Well, like I said, I will be bringing this up Wednesday night at our board of directors meeting with Palamo. And a lot of this stuff, sometimes it's grant funding. Some of it we can fund directly out of Palamo. It all depends on, everything is rated as priority, so.
Yeah.
But obviously I want this one on the radar.
Yeah. I guess we're just concerned that this isn't creating future construction projects, especially with the headaches that we've had over there. I guess, you know what I mean? There's still a lot of work to be done there to fix that by the sounds of it. So.
All right, thanks, Derek.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Going once? Oh,
You go.
Reed Wallstead, 1094 Anderson Lane. And when it comes to that overlay deal and neighbors talking about garbage day, you know, delay it, because otherwise they'll tear up the cul-de-sac, because they will turn around in that small cul-de-sac. And the other thing is, I can't believe you put an engineer or a, what do you call it, inspector on the site, first job, that didn't know what some of the components were of the project. You know, what a gate valve was and a few other things that, you know, some more experienced person would have had dust control on his mind, but not a first year out of school. Experienced people is what we need for inspectors out there to see and understand what's actually going on. So, in the future, thanks.
all right, thank you. All right, anyone else? Going once, going twice? All right, I'm going to call for a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
I'll move to close the public portion of the hearing.
I'll second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, any other questions of staff, engineers, or Chad? All right, hearing none. Looks like I'm looking for a motion for the resolution.
I'll make a motion based on the information presented tonight, plus the anticipated follow-up on the punch list items and actionable items, to approve a resolution adopting and confirming the assessments for improvement 2024-3.
I'll second.
All right, motion's made and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? All right. That motion carries. Thank you, folks. We appreciate your input. This is how we progress and make sure these things, we try to resolve these as we go along. All right, we're going to move on. The next one is improvement for Portland Woods Street improvement. Again, I need a motion to waive the hearing.
I'll move to waive the reading that it was properly published.
I'll second.
Motion made, second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, then I need a motion to open up the public hearing.
I'll move to open up the public hearing for improvement project 2024-2 Portland Woods.
I'll second.
Motion made, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, Larry, you want to run this one for us?
Yes, before we do that, as people are leaving, okay. The new pavement is going to be a little bit soft at first, and so I just wanted to encourage, and I apologize for not mentioning it earlier, with all these projects, that when you're driving on that fresh pavement, to try to avoid sitting still and moving your tires, try when you're backing out to keep things rolling as you're turning. So, and then try to go forward a bit and then make your turn slowly so we don't tear the surface of that pavement. This time of year it's better because it's cooler, but we've seen that in the past. And the other thing is with fresh with fresh sod or fresh restoration. Try to let that new grass grow a higher length before you mow it, and most likely in the spring. Let those roots, the roots will be starting to grow this year, but then in the spring also be still growing. So if you can help us by watering, if it's drier, that new sod areas, that would be helpful. And then also avoid mowing it, especially down maybe to the rest of your yard. Like try to keep the mower at a higher setting.
Plus, too, we do withhold money from these contractors. So their incentive is to continue the project and get these punch lists figured out because they don't get paid till they're completely done.
Okay, so yes, our next project is Portland Woods. A lot of similar aspects of Portland Woods to similarity to the Anderson Lane project we just mentioned. This project had concrete curb and gutter, but it was in poor condition and it was removed with this project. You can see some of the photos of the pre-existing road surface and curb. Again, we reclaimed the pavement using that material, grinding it and using it as new base for the roadway. And we did a number of drainage improvements as well on this project to promote better drainage. These pictures kind of show the new curb and gutter using a surmountable type curb. And you see the directing that water to the inlet in the mid portion of Portland Woods. Some paving photos and curb with some of the restoration areas that we're working on. This project also has some final cleanup to do. Again, if there's concerns for individual concerns for the property, please connect with us, call the project inspector to have things looked at. This project also was planned for Wednesday for paving. The same contractor is doing this in Anderson Lane. So if we are looking at shifting that paving date to Thursday, it also shifts this project's paving date. Again, we chip seal the project in 3 years to kind of keep and seal that pavement surface for longevity. I won't go into this slide. It's similar to the slide I did for Anderson Lane following our process. Project costs for this project included construction and engineering, and you can see some of the numbers there. Total project cost $341,459. Assessments, again, we're using the unit method. I won't go over that again. It's the corner lots are a half unit for each improved side and 1 unit each for others. We do have 2 multi-unit properties on this project, and I'll go over that here when we see the map. So this is the assessment map showing all the benefiting properties. You can see this large parcel at 5286. Similar to the Anderson Lane, they have a large drainage wetland here at the corner. So the corner is that half unit that is not accessible. So we are just assessing 1 unit in that case. You can see this property is the multi-unit property. It's a townhouse type unit with 2 garages, 2 dwellings. So that's assessed at a 0.6% of the unit assessment. So for those 2 properties, they're paying a lower assessment because the one parcel has basically two properties on it. And it's in accordance with the assessment policy. Working our way back around toward Portland Avenue, we have a property that we're assigning 1.5 units to. It has their driveway off of Portland Avenue. So they have a half unit at the corner, and then they were determined to be subdividable. And so that is another unit for that property. There is no water stub to that, so if it ever was subdivided, they would have to cut in that stub. The property owner, have had conversations with the property owner here. They're contesting that additional unit. They may be here to speak about that, but they don't have any plans to subdivide. So they may be bringing that up. Here's the assessment summary here again. $341,000 overall project costs. Of that, $285,000 is the assessable amount. That's not coming from other funds, the water fund, the sanitary fund, and the storm sewer fund. 7.7 units total at $12,000 for the assessment rate is $92,400. Again, it's an assessment term of 10 years and 6.3% interest rate. This payment schedule is exactly the same as the one for Anderson Lane. It's the same principal amount and then the same interest rate. So it's the exact same payment schedule as Anderson Lane. Here's the funding table, including the township funds of $193,000, the assessments of $92,000, water funds of about $15,000, storm funds of $38,000, and sanitary funds of $3,400. Again, this project cost came in lower than our original project estimate. So again, the requested action again is to hold the assessment hearing and confirm and adopt the assessment amount for Portland Woods Street improvements. Thank you.
Steve, questions?
Nope, I think we've went over this a number of times, except for the fact, what is the major, is there any major outstanding item yet to be finished on this project?
The paving,
Just
that's going to happen this week, is the major piece. Otherwise, we're looking at cleanup and other individual issues.
Okay. Outside of the final wear code, or that's it? Okay.
Beth?
I'm done.
All right, hearing no other comments from the board, I need a motion to open this up for public comment.
I'll move to open the hearing up for public comment.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Again, if you wish to speak to this item, you need to come to the podium, name and address.
Hi, Erin Parr. I'm at 5272. So that 1.5 that you were showing on that, the assessment.
Want to go back to that slide, Larry?
Yes.
So what I'm hearing you say is when you assess it at 1.5 is when it's benefiting more than one side of our property. And right there, I mean, it's pretty obvious it's only on one side of my property right away, correct?
The improvements are on one side, yes.
Okay. And also, that's a road I've never driven on because, as you also mentioned, my driveway is on the other road. And I started contesting this in January when we got the initial letter. I generally work on Monday night and had to take off to do this today, so I can't go to the meetings. I sent an email January, and then again in March, no response. So I voiced this early that I didn't find this to be a necessary project. I didn't, in the pictures you showed, it really didn't look like it was that bad, and it wasn't a bad. It's a tiny cul-de-sac for 7 houses, as you were showing. Seems very unnecessary to drop huge amounts on people like this. And I know you kind of laughed that there's a lot of people that see much worse ones, but for some people, an $18,000 assessment is pretty detrimental. And
if I gave that impression, I'm sorry. I've never laughed at people spending money.
It's not funny when it's like, that's my kid's college fund. It's not funny. And I didn't ever want it done. And it's been an inconvenience for months. And here we are.
Well,
and I don't understand how I'm being assessed at 1.5. It is a bigger property, a bigger yard. And I know you said it could be buildable. I don't know. I mean, we've never considered tossing another driveway in another home in our backyard. Probably most people have not, but.
Well, to speak to road improvements, Dale, you could probably talk to that on how we grade our roads.
In relation to
Yes.
how the condition, you're saying? Yeah, the condition. So I did a rating, and Portland Woods, from your view, probably did look pretty good, but it was skin patch. It's just trying to hold the top together. So there was, you don't drive it, so you probably don't see it, but I'm
No, I
sure some of the
don't. I don't
residents
use
that
it.
drive it observe the poor drainage and the,
Okay, and again, the $18,000 improvement to my property, I very much contest that. I disagree. I don't think that my house has gone up $18,000 in value for a curb that went on the side.
Dale, what was that road
yard.
rated at?
there's like a 1.2 or something.
Okay, well, we go to 5. 5 is the best road, 0 is terrible. When the road gets under 2, and that triggers the improvement. So now on the aspect of 1.5, we have a town policy. Larry, you don't have a satellite of that, do you? Where the house sits?
I thought I did, but I don't have
Brought
it.
pictures if you need it.
Well, I was just curious because we did discuss this at our exec meeting, I believe, about if it was dividable or not. Is that what it was? I don't remember. There was another property, but I'd have to see the aerial to see it. Technology.
Yeah, we'll pull it up in a second.
Hang on, hang on. We're not going to get you unless you're on the podium, so. Otherwise, the audience won't hear you, people at home watching won't hear, so that's why we have to come to the podium. At least this is the one I'm thinking of. Maybe we look at so many of these that.
I'll be the one on the left there, yeah.
All right, so that's the one, Larry, it's dividable?
Yes, so you can see where the house configured. You can see her driveway, as we mentioned, that goes out to Portland Avenue. And so the additional unit is the property, her backyard area, and frontage is found to be subdividable. Now, there is no water and sewer stubs, so those would have to be installed to do an improvement to add a property, a dwelling.
So it couldn't be a second unit.
It could be because
If they put forth another $1 million to whatever to build up your sewage. I mean, doesn't it seem kind of obvious? I don't just.
The lots are all predicated on square footage, so if you're able to take a chunk off and leave the 12,000 square feet, that makes it a buildable lot. Now, Chad, we did discuss something about future assessments. I don't remember.
Well, under the statute, if you don't assess the property tonight and they later hook up, the town can assess again in the future.
You mean if I build in the future, you're saying?
Yeah, and you'd get, the property get assessed not only the cost, but also the interest
I
accruing.
mean, that's great. I don't care because I'm not doing that. It never was an option.
Well, but the point,
That's why
I
I'm
think
saying
the
it doesn't make
point
sense.
is, point's being made here is that you could.
Okay,
And
so
that
you
in
guys
of
either
that
run
of
me out
itself,
because you're going to charge me this much and I sell it and make 2 properties and
okay.
crowd everybody, or what?
approximately 15 years ago, maybe 20 now, it's been a while, the town went through an exhaustive process of deciding how they're going to assess things, because assessments have certain constitutional parameters you got to meet. We're talking about different methods. And one of them was the unit method. That's what the town decided because that's what is found to be most acceptable in terms of law and also residents. And under that method, if your lot, your property could support more than one unit, you're going to get assessed for more than one unit. This has been, I'm not kidding, I'm not making this process, the town took quite a long time. I think it went on for maybe 3 to 4 years, deciding what process should be followed. And this is the process the town came up with. The fact is, at some point in time, if your lot if you couldn't add another lot, then you wouldn't have another unit, okay? But the fact is that you could, under the policy which the town adopted, you're being assessed for the additional unit.
So on the other one that's across the street from me that does use, that does benefit by two sides of it, why are they not built at 1.5? And their yard looks to be, from physically seeing it for the last 5 years and, this picture, why are they not being assessed at 1.5 when we are?
Larry, doesn't that one have wetland?
Yeah. Oh, you can see my cursor now. This area here is a lowland area, unbuildable.
Okay, but the square footage, right, would be the part on Portland Woods that curves around there?
The square footage,
And they're benefiting by two sides of the property?
as we mentioned, that it's got a larger footprint for the property itself, but the buildable area is not there because of that wetland.
And that's the key. It's not the size, it's the amount of buildable area, because you could have 10 acres, but if 9 of it is underwater, you only have 1 acre of buildable land, and that's what determines what you can actually subdivide.
Okay, so the appeal process is what? And are we,
Yeah,
are
if
you
you,
able
you
to
do,
email that out
you
to
have
us or whatever
to
else we
drop
need?
an objection off with us,
Yep,
okay?
If you signed it up, I got you.
Yeah.
okay, thanks.
I just want to say one thing, though.
Yep.
You may not ever want to develop it or subdivide it,
Or stay in White Bear Township at this rate.
but down the road, somebody's gonna. So, and that's why we have to, as much as it pains us too to do that, we have to look forward on this. So that's part of the reason why we come up with this unit assessment.
And the town does see on a regular basis people taking larger parcels and subdividing them.
All right, thank you.
Yep, thanks.
All right, anyone else?
Okay. Matt Keys, 5406 Portland Avenue. Wrong subject right now, but I have to agree with Erin. Her property does not use Portland Woods Road. Her property is on Portland Avenue. Whether there's an extra lot back there, and we're going to suffer the same things when you talk to me about Portland Avenue, Jenny Lane, because I have property in the same way. I don't think you should assess them or charge them for that because they do not utilize this road at this time. Probably maybe in the future, if they do sell it, then maybe you have to put an assessment on there for the road. But at this time right now, they're not using it. And we're going to have the same problem with Portland Avenue, with Jenny Lane. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Going once, going twice. All right, I need a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
I'll move to close the public portion of the hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Are there any other questions of staff or the attorney? All right, hearing none, I need a motion on the resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve a resolution adopting and confirming the assessments for improvement 2024-2 for the Portland Wood Street Improvement Project.
I'll second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, moving on. We have one more. This is the Jenny Lane area. Again, I need a motion to waive the reading, noting it's properly published.
I'll move to waive the reading that it was properly published.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Then I need a motion to open up the public hearing.
I'll move to open up the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, Lair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Town Board. The map you can see on your screen here is the Jenny Lane Improvement Project, and it encompassed a number of different streets, a bit of a larger project in comparison to the other two projects we discussed tonight. This project, with its size, was built in 3 phases, which included phase 1, work kind of west of Portland Avenue, phase 2 kind of in the southern area, and phase 3 on the north area. No mouse, sorry. You can see 2.5 miles in length, and in this project, the improvements were evaluated through the feasibility report, and it was determined that a mill and overlay would be the proper improvement at this time for this project. We also try to address drainage issues with these types of projects to promote some better drainage. In this case, a number of catch basins were substandard and needed to be replaced. Added some short pieces of concrete curb at those structures to promote that drainage. And then some areas of this project had curb and gutter, and we did some spot replacement of that curb and gutter in those areas. Here you can see a catch basin going in. Work to form up that curbing next to the catch basin. This is how it looks there on the picture on the left, with the new curbing at those catch basins. There's another photo of some of the concrete curb replacement. And then we kind of have some final photos. Now in this project, the paving for this project isn't complete as yet. The phase 3 area has not been paved yet. And so that's a plan for next Tuesday for that final paving on that final phase. All the other 2 phases have been paved. There's still some restoration work to occur. And then again, we're working with some property owners on specific issues that we're looking to address. This project as a mill and overlay, it's not as, we're not adding curb and gutter, so there's certain things that couldn't be improved as a part of a mill and overlay project that you could on a reconstruction project. Again, we would look to chip seal the pavement in about 3 years. Again, similar process for improvements to be able to assess for those improvements. And then these are the project costs overall, $2.8 million for this project. And you can see the various components that make up that $2.8 million. Again, using the unit method, each lot is assessed 1 unit. Corner lots assessed a half unit for each approved side. And we are looking at as mill and overlay project a $5,000 unit assessment. So this is the assessment map. We have a number of properties, as was mentioned, that were similar to the Portland Woods, where we have multiple units. 2 of those are off of Taylor Avenue. And then we have some properties, some longer skinny properties here off Portland Avenue that have both frontage on Portland Avenue and on Franklin over here. And so in those cases, they're not quarter lots. And so using the assessment policy, they're assessed 1 unit each because of that frontage off of the township streets. So I got some blow up maps here, and we can zoom into these individual properties with the GIS mapping if you would like. And so the first one I'd like to talk about here is 2455. It's located here. Taylor Avenue's here, and then Cantwell Avenue. And so you have a property here that is has their property kind of in the rear, and then you do have some wet area here, but it was found that there's enough upland here that it should be it could be subdividable. Checking the as-built or our sewer and water stubs for that additional potential property. The next one here is 2499, and the frontage is Taylor Avenue here. Again, this property has 2 stubs, so it could be connected to those stubs. However, in this case, the dwellings on the property are kind of center, and so it would be somewhat difficult to subdivide because you would have to take some of the building structures down to be able to subdivide that. And then you have these other properties here off Portland Avenue. You can see their driveways off of Portland Avenue, but then they have that frontage on the backside on Franklin. And we can get into more details. It sounds like some property owners that are in this situation are here tonight. This is the assessment summary. In this case, the 2.8 million, about 2 million of that is overall assessable. We have 175.5 assessable units, and that with that $5,000 assessment rate computes to $877,000 for the assessable portion. Again, 10-year assessment, 6.3% proposed. And so this is the payment schedule for the $5,000 for the Jenny Lane area. And you can see the principal is $500 each year. And then that interest kind of changes as you pay off some of those amounts. And so that first year again is totaling interest for all of 2026, but then also the time from tonight's hearing to the end of the year. This is the funding proposed for the project, including 1.2 million for township funds, the 877,000 for assessments, the water fund, 134,000, the storm fund, including the added catch basins or replaced catch basins and other drainage improvements, about 500,000, and then sanitary sewer improvements of 100,000. Again, we received better pricing as it went through the design than our original estimates. So tonight, again, looking at that, holding the assessment hearing and then adopting a resolution confirming the assessment amounts for the Jenny Lane area. Thank you.
Beth? Steve, got anything?
No.
Okay, well, like I said, the board sees these projects almost a year in advance, so I think we've pretty much asked all the things we need to ask. So hearing none from the board, I need a motion to open up for public comment.
I'll move to open the hearing up for public comment.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, again, when you want to speak to this, you got to come to the podium. I need your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Leanne Jansen. I live at 2657 Christine Court. The project is unbelievably ridiculous. I'm sorry. I thought we had a township noise ordinance at 7 a.m. in the morning. I can attest to October 10th, I was off. I thought it was an earthquake. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. They're coming through. What in the world's going on? It was a grader or something they were doing. You guys, last week, you were cutting driveways in the rain and coming home from work. Couldn't believe it. So I called the township and left a message for who's ever on the letter there. You guys didn't call me back. It was a gentleman by the name of Byron Perkins. If he's here tonight, I don't know, but he's the only one that'll listen, it sounds like. And I spoke with him 45 minutes about how upset I am with the project, the way it's going. I had a new driveway put in 3 years ago. Pretty substantial. It's an asphalt driveway, but now it's cut, and you guys haven't done anything about it. And I want to know when the project's going to get done. We are moving into winter. I mean, you could talk about your paving next week. You guys have made so many promises on these letters. You say the water's going to be shut off. That day it's not shut off. The next day it's shut off. I mean, let's follow through with what you guys are saying. It's very upsetting. And you got graders sitting out there, tractors sitting out there. It's almost becoming a hazard now in the evening. It's pitch black at 6:30 at night. I mean, I don't know. You guys really destroyed that area. I have to admit, it's very unacceptable. I didn't know when I went to all these meetings the whole year that you're going to be cutting every driveway. Down on Franklin, I mean, that's the neighborhood I walk in. Those people can't even get into their garages. You have yellow tape. I just noticed it over the weekend. Yellow tape. They can't get in their garages. Switch the roles. How would you people like that? And I want to know when the project's going to get done. Give us a date before the snow flies. Otherwise, it's going to be a mud bath out there.
Well, you just said, when's the course going down?
Next Tuesday is the plan.
That's the plan, but we've heard the plan all along.
Yeah, it's weather permitting, of course.
Well, now it's going to snow, so weather permitting.
All right, anyone else?
My name is Linda Beckus, and I live at 5444 Portland Avenue. My driveway is Portland Avenue. It is not Franklin. I back right up to Franklin. In fact, I talked to Larry about this. I do not, in the future, unless I decide to, I am not subdividing it. It is not subdivided. It is one property. I bought it, one property and one property only. When and if I ever decide to subdivide it, I will pay the assessments at that time, but not until. Like Leanne said, I walk my dog on that property, and the only time I drive on that land is if I have to go someplace that's back there. My brother is 2 houses down from me. He lives at 5416 Portland Avenue. His lot is not buildable. It's not wide enough, but he got assessed. He's getting assessed also. If you really want to get technical, my land does not butt up to Franklin. It butts up to your land. The 5 feet from the middle of the street to my property is your land.
Well,
So how do I
all of
get-
our land.
Pardon me?
It's township land.
Exactly. Why do I have to pay assessments on township land that I don't even have assessments access to, except walking? And the lady that's on the court, Portland Court, my land also floods. I have, it's natural drainage. It comes down and it sits right there in my yard. It takes me 3 months in the summertime to cut one property, one piece of land up to here with weeds. I'm not subdividing it. I don't plan on building on it. If I sell it to my kids and my kids decide to build on it, I'll pay the assessments, but not until. And my brother's the same way. How can you assess him when his lot is not even buildable, but it butts up to Franklin? Is it because there's no trees on there and it's open? What? I'm not paying taxes, assessments on that land. Even though I have a stub there for your sewer and water. It's not on my property, it's on your property, the township's property.
Actually, it's not the township property, it's an easement, which under the law, the town handles and controls as trustee for the public. It is not township property. It's only an easement.
So I don't butt up to that. I butt right up to the easement, but I don't from the easement to the street.
Well, I'd have to look at your property, but looking at the map here, Franklin Avenue is simply an easement. It's a dedicated easement, and you still have the right to access that easement, access Franklin Avenue. So,
I have the right to access it, yes, but I don't have a
I
driveway
don't-
on it now.
well, okay, I'm just only addressing the fact that your property actually accesses and has access to Franklin Avenue. There's no strip of land between your property and Franklin Avenue that the township owns.
Excuse me? Yeah, who put the stuff in there? Yeah.
Look, I'm not the engineer. I can't answer that
Okay, well,
question,
I'm talking
okay?
to the engineer then.
Yeah, that was done with the original sewer and water
Who
project.
said to put it in there? Did you ask the owner?
That was
No,
years.
because
That
it's
was
on
years
your
and years ago. I don't.
Exactly.
That's 3 minutes in.
Okay, wait, okay, hold up. We can't have this conversation without
Okay,
being on mic,
okay,
okay?
okay.
You'll get your turn if you want to come to the mic,
When you
please.
guys first started building back there, when you first started building back there, I told the town board the same doggone thing. I bought my property as one piece of property. If my husband and my brothers cut those trees down in my backyard, no, you guys, you can't assess me. You can't. You can't assess people that don't have driveways up to Franklin. There's no, and don't tell me that I can build on it, because if I don't want to build on it, I won't build on it.
That's totally your prerogative.
Exactly.
And
And
it-
it's my totally property if I want to build on it, or if I want to sell it, I will pay the assessments then. That's my,
And you have the full availability to appeal this. If you,
oh, I
if
appealed,
you
I
feel,
sent in a letter.
okay, but if you feel we're assessing you invalid, you can appeal this.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to solve this tonight, but you can appeal this.
Well, then I'm talking about my brother too, on 5416.
That's fine.
Portland
You can
Avenue.
appeal
He's
it.
the same way.
Yep.
How can you assess him when his land is not buildable?
Our town
It's not
policy
wide enough.
is if there's enough property to make 2 lots, and it looks like it was because it was stubbed.
Not on my brother's.
It was stubbed for yours, that means it's dividable. So we can't, all I can say is, you may never want to do it, somebody may buy you out, and then they do it.
Right, and at that time, I will pay the assessment.
That's why you're being assessed twice.
Yes.
But at that time, not now.
Well,
10 years down the line, if I decide to build on it, I will pay for it then.
All right.
But not now.
Okay.
we're not getting anywhere. I mean, the town has, as I said earlier, the town 15, 20 years ago created a policy for assessment. And it was a policy that was dealt with in a public hearing over a couple of years at least, because I remember I was there at the time. And the present board is simply enforcing the policy, following the policy, I should say, that prior boards adopted, and the town has been following since that time.
Right. But I wasn't assessed the last time either. So why should I be assessed this time? That property, the only thing that's changed on my property is my brother
Well,
and my husband cut the trees down.
Mr. Chair, if I may, it's not necessarily a question of subdividability. It's got frontage on Franklin and per the assessment policy. And it's not a corner lot, so it's not a half a unit, so it's 1 unit.
Right, but why? Why are you paying me an assessment that my lot is not going to be built on? And you're assessing me on Portland Avenue too. When you guys go through Portland or whatever you do Portland, you're going to assess me on Portland because my driveway is on Portland. That's not right. You're going to assess me on 2 streets. One I have access to and one I only have access by walking.
If I may, Larry, isn't Portland Avenue a county road?
Yes, it is.
Okay, you should know this. Counties are not allowed to assess for improvements made to county roads.
Well, excuse me, but when you guys were fixing Portland Avenue, you tried to, you
Well,
assessed,
We didn't
or
fix.
the county did,
No.
whoever, but why?
Well, all I can tell you is, under the statute, counties don't have the authority to assess for improvements.
Well, then who approved it?
I can't answer that because the town doesn't improve or repair Portland Avenue. That's a county road under county jurisdiction. They're the ones that approve it and repair it. So you'd have to ask the county on that one,
Okay, but
because we have no control over that.
the last question I'm going to ask is, how can you assess me when I only have walking assessed?
You abut the road.
About the road.
You abut the road.
I'm sorry, a lot of these answers is not what you want to hear. Policy is policy. If we start piecemealing every one of these projects to fit everybody's concerns, there would be no consistency, and it would not be fair to the whole residents of the town. We'd be playing piecemeal and favoritism. This is why we have ordinances and policies. Yes, sir, come on up.
Again, Matt Keys, 5406 Portland Avenue. Same problem. You're saying when I moved in and bought that property, there was no road there, all right? It's property. They put the road in, and now I'm liable for the road, although I have nothing to do with it. When I got stubbed in, they assessed me for them, and there was an option to pay for it now or just let it sit and pay it when you sold. So I sat on it, and it's the same thing when they put curbing in. I came in here when Dick Sand was still here and came up with the same thing. Why are you assessing me for curbing when I do not use that road? So possibly it's a sellable lot, but nobody's interested in selling. And at the point of sales, like the assessment on the stubbing in, you pay it when you sell it. You don't pay it now because we're not using it. Shell's not using it. There's a bunch of people, like she's talking, her brother doesn't use it. It's just my backyard. and now you're charging me for the road. And, well, yeah, we can use the road. Well, the public can use the road too, okay? So I would like to settle it tonight because it's ridiculous. I don't want to file a big claim and do this because I argued with you. I sent you a letter last January, whenever this whole thing started, and explained the situation to you at that point. I got nothing. I didn't make all the meetings, the bitch. I'm sorry, pardon my French. But I didn't make all the meetings to complain. I thought you'd figure it out and wash it away. But apparently you didn't. So not very happy. There's a few people. They're stubbed in, but we're not using it. So I'd like to sell it right now because I think it's ridiculous. I think you should dismiss those houses and Aaron's house too. So what do you think? Can we do it tonight, or do we got to make a big deal out of it?
What I just said, if we piecemeal every one of these, we would be here till 5 years from now, looking at every individual
You're
property.
almost done.
We would set a precedence that would follow us and the next board forever. We can't just piecemeal and cherry pick certain properties that don't fit your requirements, but they hit our ordinances.
They're just backyards. They're not lots.
They are today, but tomorrow they could be something else. But again,
Linda was saying.
you have to have a policy, and we have to follow our policy. Well, we are following the policy.
I don't agree with you guys a bit. I argued with putting the road in. You put the road in. I argued about stubbing in. You did it. That was my property back there. It was all swampland, and that's fine. You put the road in, okay? But now you're charging me for something that I didn't want in the first place.
Well, and that's why we have this process that you can appeal it and state your case to see if we are technically breaking the law.
That little piece of paper you sent me in the mail, I appeal it that way.
No.
I've got to take
Again,
my time to go to court.
I don't want to make sure that people don't make a mistake here. First step is you got the assessment adopted, okay? You have to do that. That's statutory. Next step is, if the assessment's adopted, you then have to file an appeal and the process is this. You first serve the township, the county, that's the city, the town clerk with the appeal. You then have, I think it's 10 days, but you'll have probably hire an attorney and make sure on this. You then have a period of time which you have to file that appeal with district court. Now, you can do this yourselves if you want. You can do it, as say, pro se. But that's the process under the statute, and that's strictly followed. So I want to make sure everyone understands this is not a rule we're making up. This is strictly out of the statute, and it has to be followed according to the statute. It has to be followed it has to be followed strictly. So make sure you follow the time frame.
Is that little piece of paper you sent me, the appeal in the mail?
No.
What you did tonight when you signed up on the sheet that was distributed, you are stating your.
Under the statute, when we send the notice out for the appeal, send out the notice out for the assessment, we also have to include in that notice your appeals rights and how the process works.
Right.
That's why I said, no, that's not the appeal. The actual appeal is the objection you file tonight. That's the start. That's step one. And step two is you have to file and you have to serve the town with an appeal, and then you have to file that appeal with district court. And it's all has to be done within 30 days.
So you took step one tonight when you signed up on our sheet.
All right.
Right. That's step one.
Yep.
So, no cure for this right now is what you're saying, right?
No, we would be going against our own town policy.
Common sense doesn't fit in.
Well, common sense created these policies.
I've been there longer.
I wasn't there when they were created.
Longer than you have, and things have changed, and now you're charging me for some frustration? Say that.
Shelton Bentley, and I live at 5436 Portland Avenue. Now, I've been there for almost 47 years, and you got quite a few of us that they're in their 70s and they're retired and on fixed incomes. And if you look at the back of my property, I got a big duck pond in the back, so you can't build on that. And it's all woods. And I can remember a message that I didn't want the road put in. I didn't want the development, but when they put all the water and stuff, I think it's just kind of a sad situation for some of us here because we're in a bad situation with what's going on. I think it is. I don't think it's right, but I'd just like to voice my opinion on it. Okay?
All right, thanks, Shelton.
Hi, my name's Jeremy Nelson. I live at 2542 Taylor Avenue. Chad, I got a few questions for you. Since you work for us, right?
I'm the town attorney, that's right.
Yes, you are.
So I'm-
Okay.
I'm
So
the-
just as much as they represent you, you represent us, right?
Yeah, I represent the town, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. I mean, I understand, I obviously can't represent you against the town in this,
You work
but
for a firm or are you an independent lawyer?
I'm at work for a firm.
Okay, so there's other people at the firm that potentially could help these people here tonight, represent them since the township-
Actually-
hang on real quick.
okay.
Let me finish my thought.
Okay, sure.
So they
I
can help you,
apologize.
right?
Mhm.
These people, you're representing these people, right?
Okay, go ahead, finish.
Finish the thought. You're representing these people, right? These people out here need to be represented because the over amount of work you keep talking about all these papers these people got to file, most of them won't be able to file these papers. So Chad, I really challenge you to help these people file these papers. And hold your thought on that.
Okay.
And then real quick for you, Ed. When you say you can't change these policies, you can change these policies. Go back to the board, all you guys go back, and these fine people that are living these longer lots to say what you're saying to them is wrong. You can make it right. Go back, and when you say peacemaking, you're not peacemaking.
Even
You're
if we were to do that, it can't go retro. It wouldn't matter. We could fix it next month, but you can't go back.
You can't go back.
Well, okay, so you can't go back.
I mean, Ed, you can move forward with these policies. In time, you can move forward with them.
And you know what? And that's very possible. And if you want to petition our planning commission to come with an idea and a plan,
Yes.
we'd be more than happy to listen to it.
Okay. So I'm just saying, we got to look past this because some of these people are angry and they're paying a lot of money into property taxes. We pay our state taxes, our federal taxes, and our property taxes to the towns. And we're still being assessed $5,000, $10,000, $18,000 on roads. Somewhere we're overspending money at the government level. And what you guys are saying, we can't do our policies. We do got to do our due diligence. We got to go back into our policies. And the Constitution, assessments and taxations were not on the Constitution when you brought up that earlier. Where was your Constitution?
Actually, no, the process that the town has to follow and any municipality has to follow in assessments, there are constitutional protections. For example, remember when I was talking about earlier, the fact that you can't assess more than the benefit, that is constitutional. Because it's anything over and above the benefit is a taking. And taking under the Constitution is forbidden.
Well, real quick, Ed, or Chad, your firm should represent these people out here. At least give them legal advice on their documentation that they have to file and help them along with it because none of them can afford, most of them can't afford to get a lawyer to challenge a township.
Okay, here's the problem with that. I represent the township. And in the case of an assessment appeal, I'll be representing the township. I can't represent the township and represent the owner at the same time. That's a conflict of interest. That's why I've been going through the appeal process tonight, telling you what you have to do so you're clear. But I can't prepare the appeal. I can't do that.
It's tough though, because we pay your salary. We do.
Okay,
And
well,
you can't deny that. We do.
okay.
That's all I got to say. I don't need
That's
no
fine.
response. We pay your salary. Remember?
I got to respond to this because our town attorney is for the township. He can't personally respond and go to every individual and be their attorney. It's impossible.
I know it is.
Well, it's also
But
a
what's
conflict
also
of
impossible
interest.
is you have an attorney and these folks don't.
That attorney is not just, it's not us, it's the township. This board's going to come and go. He is the attorney for the township.
I've said enough.
Well, let's keep one thing in mind. Sure, I represent the township, but keep in mind, all the money that's been spent on this road, that's not assessed. It gets paid by every other citizen of the township. I represent them just as well as I represent the people in this room here.
And this is why we're spending a lot of our funds across the board so our taxable levy does not go up. Those funds are applied to that, so everybody in the township is sharing an advantage of those funds. And look, we know assessments are expensive. When I first started on the board, they were $2,000 or $3,000. but the cost of things of construction and everything has just gone up. You know that, and to blame us for all the other taxes, you can talk to your state reps. We're the bottom of the pile. We're the bottom of the totem pole. Everything gets dropped on us. We don't have Township doesn't have funding like the cities do around us. We don't get a couple million a year for helping all these roads. We have to literally assess to make our roads safe for you guys, and that's where we're sitting. And like again too, if you're that passionate about it, we always have openings on the Planning Commission. You can sit on that board and you can have your input. We listen to these boards, utilities commissions, park boards, all of them. We implore you to come and get on those boards because we use these folks as information for us to make our decisions. So, and like I said, we are at the bottom. We're at the bottom of the pole. And a lot of these funds that we incur are non-fundable. Met Council is one of them. They drop all this stuff on us. It costs money, but we don't get extra money for that. We have to figure out how to pay for them. Roads are no different. And we struggle with these too, just like everybody else. We all live in the township. We all get assessments. This is a tough lump to swallow, but we can't have roads falling apart either. It's a public safety thing. That's my spiel. All right, anyone else?
Chris Wallachie, 2581.
Sorry, what was it?
Chris Wallachie, 2581 Taylor Avenue. Great job, Jeremy. So I live on Taylor. I've been there for, I don't know, 20 some years, I think at this point. Do you know the last time, do you have a date of the last time that they redid the road?
I don't recall offhand. It was in the feasibility report.
I don't feel 2018? Okay. Was there a warranty that comes with the roads?
There's a warranty with these improvements.
We're gonna get to that one, but in 2018, was there a warranty on that road?
I don't know if that's the correct date, but there would have been a 1-year
I
warranty.
think that would probably been a seal coat.
No. Hold on. Why is it a 1-year warranty? Do you pay more? So if you pay, so like say like current time right now, if you guys milled the road down to an appropriate depth, would that give you more of a warranty?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, was there recommendations made by the crew that came out and did the work? Did anybody make recommendations for the road to be done differently, but you guys chose to go a different direction?
We were relying on the soil. This is the soil boring and the coring of the pavement to get a pavement recommendation.
Okay, so they recommended what they did. The work that they did, is that what they recommended? There was no difference between what they recommended.
Who was they? I'm confused.
What was the name of the Broser or something? Was it Dressel?
That's the contract?
Yeah. Did Dressel recommend that we do a different depth or a different construction of the road?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that you're aware of.
Larry, isn't there just regular specifications on how roads are constructed?
Yeah, in this case, it's a mill and overlay. So we get we hire a geotechnical engineer to do coring of the pavement and boring beneath the road to see what materials are underneath the road to come up with a recommendation for the improvement.
And then it's out the bidding process.
Then you prepare plans for that recommended improvement and get bids on those.
How long would you expect this road to last now?
We'll like to get 15, 20 years out of this improvement.
Why didn't we get 15 or 20 years out of the last improvement?
I don't know that we haven't. I don't know what improvement you're talking about in 2018. I started working in the township in 2018. I know we didn't do a street project here.
Okay. Well, we'll go back and do some digging, I guess, to verify that. My concern, well, let me back up a second. So the project, was there a number that was 3.4 million, but it was settled at 2.9? Is that what it was?
3.5 was the original estimate.
Okay, so what's the difference between the 3.5 and the 2.8 right now?
That'd be about 700,000.
Right, but how did you guys save $700,000?
So when we put these original project estimates together, we like to aim higher. We don't know everything at that point because we haven't designed it yet. So we put what we think are inflationary factors that we might see on a project.
Sure.
And we overestimate the quantities to make sure we're covering everything that could happen with these types of projects. And so we estimate high in the hopes we get a better bid. And the other thing here is we got a lot of bidders, and it was a competitive bidding process, and we got a lower bid amount.
So did Dresser make any other recommendations for the road?
Not that I'm aware of.
It would be out of their contract.
Well, we don't differently. What I heard was that the road wasn't milled down appropriately.
Okay, well, we're not going to go with hearsay. All I'm saying is.
That's what they told me?
When we go out for bids, they have a scope of work that they have to comply to.
Well, but either way, the warranty or the road, you guys hope for the road to last 15 or 20 years. I know that the road has been done prior to the last 15 or 20 years.
So there's a mill and overlay in 1998.
The last overlay was 98?
Yep. 71 was constructed. Overlays in 90.
I was
1990.
I was there.
99.
I was there in 2003, and I know that the road has been done since then.
It was a seal coat.
Seal coat's totally different.
Yeah, it's not a structural, it's a surface treatment.
Well, let's move on. What else you got? Because obviously, we're not going to go with hearsay because we just showed you that it was just a seal coat.
How do I, so I can get written statements from them and then what, hire an attorney?
Written statements from what?
From Dresser, or what, is that who it is? Dressel.
Written statements saying what? I'm still confused.
That allegedly, you guys kind of cut back on the cost by not going down as far as what was recommended by them.
They don't recommend anything to us.
They didn't. So you guys developed all the plan and they just did it.
Correct.
Yeah, they bid according to what the specifications are.
They bid.
They don't tell us, we tell them this is what we want. And then that's how the contract gets written.
And we doesn't mean the Public Works Department. We means the consulting engineers retained by the town under contract to make those recommendations to the town.
Okay. Great. That's it.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Patrice Posini Stedman, 2499 Taylor Avenue. I have already submitted my formal objection to Pat Christofferson dated October 15th. On behalf of our neighbors, we have a lot of project tie-up loose ends. Who do we submit our concerns to? Who's the project inspector? I mean, I just have 6 that we've come up with, and there's probably more on the other end that I'm not aware of, but who would be the name or the address or phone number?
If you want to write me an email with,
okay,
I can pass those along to the project inspector.
Okay.
And they can probably, and with your contact information, we can have them reach out to you.
Okay. And thank you for your time. We all do appreciate this.
Thanks, Patrice.
Thanks, Patrice.
A really quick related question. Karen Bundy, I live at 5400 Franklin Avenue. Who do we contact? And Larry, is it you around invisible fencing, which is a wire under the ground for pet containment? There's a big chunk of mine that was torn out. Who do we contact about getting that repaired?
Again, you can come to me and I can.
Do you?
I can forward that on to the project
Okay.
team.
Because I think it has to be done by the invisible fence people because they can show you exactly where it was broken. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and sometimes that kind of misses the radar because when you call for locates, that's one of the things they tend to miss.
Right, yeah, because it was flagged.
All right.
But there was no way they couldn't.
All right, anyone else?
Rick Kang, 5424 Jefferson Court. This is related to also part of the Taylor Road project because I was a part of that. Now, as far as that gentleman with the hat goes, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. I have a mobility scooter and I ride around a lot, especially after the rain, just to see what's going on with the construction. I'm just curious, pertaining to his question that I don't believe was answered. It's projected to be approximately 15 years for the roads, correct? Now, let's say if it wasn't to the spec, and let's just say that, because there's a lot of puddles out there. There's flaws, major flaws. I've spoken to TKDA, Byron. I've spoken to several other contractors that was subbed. They came out and tore up our sewage on the street for the drain twice because that contractor that did that said that they didn't have any numbers to go off. We're not going to go with the he said, she said, like you said. But the question now is, if it only lasts for 5 to 7 years at most, are we going to get reassessed for it? And the other thing also is, who is actually checking the depth so that it can actually withstand whatever weather or load, so that it can last the 15 to 20 years as expected. You know, not just this seal coating or whatever it may be as far as maintenance go. But we do not want to get assessed. A lot of people here and from other meetings are pretty upset because it seems like this project has not gone very well. So now the question is, if the road needs to be redone again in 5 to 7 years, as again, I spoke to the consultants, the TKDA people, are we going to get reassessed for that, even though it's not our fault?
I don't believe we're going to replace a road in 7 years. I don't think that's ever happened in the township. But I don't want to speculate on what's going to happen down the road. But I can do, as a builder for 50 years, Beth has been in the business, you can never, ever assume what's under the ground. You don't know. Tomorrow, a spring might pop and run under the road, and the road's going to drop. We'll have to fix it. Things happen, but all we know is from experience, from our engineers, when we do a road, we have a little chart on how long the road should last till the next maintenance is going to accrue. And if we don't do these intermediate mill and overlays, the road is going to depreciate a lot quicker, and then it's going to be a complete road redo, which means it costs more.
Right.
So, but in order to give a warranty of what's under the ground, no one's going to be able to do that.
Well, you know, it's just very sad that for me to ride around and see all these puddles that I have to avoid with a mobility scooter. And, you know, again, I'm not going to go into specific details of all the flaws that has happened that I've witnessed myself and some of my neighbors. But at the same time, communication is key. Now, from what I hear from a lot of the people at the meetings, they've reached out to the engineers or the township or whatever, and there seems to be a lack of, if any. And that includes myself. I've reached out to the engineers several times. I spoke to Scott, which is the gentleman that drives around, that gave me the business card for the township engineers. And I've reached out and I left message, and it wasn't you, by the way, Larry. I left messages for him, never got anything. I spoke to Byron as recommended because he was there. Byron stopped by my house several times, but the only thing he can give me back as far as an answer goes is, I've done my best. I forwarded it to my supervisor. I brought it up to the township. You have to speak to them. So there seems to be a lot of finger pointing going on.
Larry, you want to explain the process with the field engineer?
Yeah, so your first line of communication is Byron, the project inspector. And then if there are issues, they bring it up to the construction engineer for the project. And so I apologize if they didn't get back to you.
Yeah, it's been a while, and the problem is Byron's at the point where, and I'm going to use his term, he's just the scapegoat because he has no real answers anymore. And he's just as frustrated as we are. I have pictures, I have evidence. He even came out when it after it rained. And I have pictures of it. I'm not going to talk about my own personal problems.
Oh, wait a minute, no, that's, the road's not completely paved though, correct?
We're done at Jefferson Court.
And it's still puddling on the road after it's done?
We don't have a puddle. We have a lake. We have pictures
You know
and
about this,
evidence
Larry?
of it.
I drove through today. I did see some areas off on the sides.
By the way,
It's
I
on
am
the
so
road or not?
serious, I have my attorney over here with me tonight. Just to let you know how serious and upset I am, because I am concerned for my safety. It will freeze over, that big old puddle.
All right, I got to stop you right now. Chad, do we still proceed with this if he's got council present?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's a public meeting.
Okay. I just don't want something said that can be used against us. So I want to be very careful now because if
Yeah, we're not going to, since you've got counsel here, we're not going to really respond to you.
Okay,
Right.
that's fine, but
But understand one thing. You have every right, you're a citizen, you have a right to say what, say what, everything.
And-
Just that we can't respond because of that, okay?
sure.
All right.
And I'm also very careful as to what I say myself. And that's why I'm very vague instead of going into specifics.
Have you sent any emails?
What is it?
Have you sent any emails to Larry?
No, because Byron kept on asking me to call them so they could come out and see it.
Can I suggest that you do send Larry, it would be a courtesy if you could.
Okay.
So we could, I mean, we do care. I mean, I honestly care that you guys are unhappy, but give us a chance to fix it. So please put it in writing so it's there. You know you've sent it. Larry will look at it, but we do care.
Okay. So now going back to the subject of knock on wood, if things happen, we have a 1-year warranty. This assessment is already huge for a lot of people. And now from the work and experience that we've seen, I mean, fire departments had to be dispatched because of errors. The confidence level is to a minimal with their work. And I'm only specifically talking about Dressel or whoever their contractors are. Because there's no reason why the fire department, ambulance, and the police department needs to be dispatched to a construction zone unless something major happened, like hitting a gas line. That's all I got.
All right, anyone else?
I'm Patricia Dupre, 2569 Taylor Avenue. And I just wanted to comment on us to our driveway. It's all messed up at the bottom. And we've talked to several people about it too. And nothing has ever been done about it. So the same as what he's saying, that we just have problems with it. And Byron is the one that, yeah, he's been out 2 or 3 times. He's marked it. It needs to be cut in like 18 inches from the road or whatever. He has it marked there or whatever. A few times, no one's ever come. And this summer they had to cut into our driveway to redo the gas line, which is fine. We're okay with that. But this summer we could have had our driveway resealed, everything to have it done. But we're waiting on all that because now we have just a big square piece of tar in the middle of our road driveway where everything is cut out. So it's just like, it doesn't get done. And we have a lip
you aware of
that's
this
like
one, Larry?
this big on the end.
What was your address, Miss?
2569
Yeah.
Taylor Avenue.
Yeah, I'm aware of it. I actually visited the driveway, and Byron was going to follow up to make sure it was addressed. I'm not sure where it's at, but I had been there with Byron.
Okay.
And Byron says,
Because it's been like 3 weeks again now.
no, I get it.
And it's like, the whole thing is like where our driveway is, where the dirt, even where they put the new stuff in, all that stuff comes, and it's like that thick at the end of our driveway. So it used to be so that it went on the road, but now it's like right in our driveway.
There's a ledge, yep.
So, all
I'm
right.
bored with it.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Derek Shawls, 2563 Taylor Avenue. I guess I'm here tonight is to ask you to reevaluate the assessment fee of $5,000. I've looked at several other cities nearby on what they charge. And then I have also spoken to assessors, real estate agents, and some lawyers on what market values are going for. Just for example, Wiper Lake did one. They charged $1,600 for a mill and overlay for an 80-foot lot. That's what most of us kind of have. Hugo was $2,100 for a mill and overlay for their 24, 25 projects. St. Paul was the highest one I saw, was at $29.61. Lino Lakes, they did a street project and they had 0 assessments. Stillwater Township also did a project in 2024 for an overlay project, and that was at $0 also. I looked on the feasibility report, and the estimated mill and overlay cost was going to be at $2,725,690. The awarded bid came in at $1,978,802,000. That's a difference of $746,888. So either someone, when they calculated the estimate, was way off, or we're not seeing any savings as a homeowner based on the new assessment rate. So
When we get a feasibility study and a cost from the engineers, it's purposely, like Larry said, trying to get into contingencies if it goes high. We can only set the assessment for a certain amount. We can't go higher.
correct, so you can't go lower.
That's true. But the problem is if the bids come in way higher, then we can't assess for more. So the number we're using is only a guidance. And when we get a good bid ratio, 10, 12 guys getting it, that does affect the cost of the project, but it doesn't affect the 20% minimum what we have to assess.
So the $746,000 doesn't provide any assessment savings to
Well, it does in the long run of everybody in the township, because that cost is spread out across the township, not just assessments for the project. So it's still a savings to the town. It's just not to an individual property owner. And when you quote everybody around us, we don't get the kind of funds everybody around us gets. And I don't know when these were done, but every year our road projects are jumping by 10, 15%.
They're 24,
5 years ago,
projects. It's on their websites.
That's about what it had run up.
Yep, so.
But I don't want to sit here and speak for any other community. We try to do our best with the
And you know
town
what?
costs.
Everybody else is getting charged compared to Wiper Township. So that's why I'm asking we reevaluate what the assessment rate is, because you're being charged a lot less and you're not passing any savings on to the residents as the under assessments. The construction process has not gotten well out there. There's a lot of errors. Me personally, on our property, I've sent a few emails to Larry, have not received any responses. I spoke to him at the meetings, and he said he'd reach out. My concern is runoff coming down Taylor Avenue. It comes into our yard, and we have large ponding during any rainstorm in our front yard. And nobody came out to address to see if the crown could be adjusted a little bit, or the pitch, if there's any curbing that could be put in there during the process. So it was just real frustrating as a homeowner to reach out several times, or a resolution, or even a contact. When they did the project of the actual lane of the asphalt, I had a half-inch lip from my driveway onto the road. I sent an email that afternoon, and I received a response is, compaction's been done, we'll come out and look at it afterwards. I had talked to the crew that was on site and asked if they could use their roller to try and pack that down, and they said because I have a concrete driveway, they would not do that. And the next day, they were out there with a torch, with the roller, trying to roll. So, not again, somebody's not talking to somebody. at least I did receive a response that they would look at it. I don't think there was, nobody contacted me afterwards to come out there and look at it. I did flag Byron down one day. He stopped by and checked on it, and he says, I don't think it's right, so he was going to bring it up to the appropriate person. But I'm concerned about the runoff and not receiving any feedback on that. We do have bird baths, as they were talking all over, especially on 8th Street. Some of them are duck ponds. I mean, they're pretty substantial. Figured, you know, you'd see some better grading and things like that when they were doing this. The soil that they put down on the restoration project, there was glass in it. So my yard now has little shards of glass, and they ran the street sweeper through, and there's still glass on Taylor Avenue and 8th Street. So just as a heads up to the landscaping crew, make sure that they're getting quality black dirt for their next restoration projects across the road. We kind of talked about benefit tonight, and I know you guys do a large scale assessment of everybody's properties. I don't feel that we're receiving a $5,000 benefit on a mill and overlay. Taylor Avenue has no curb or gutter, and it's only a 20-foot wide road. So I know you try and equalize it, but I don't feel that we're getting our full $5,000 benefit out of that. So I talked to an assessor, and he said likely that is the case. To hire him was over $700 minimum to come out and do an appraisal on my property. I spoke to a lawyer. They charged $380 an hour. They figured minimum of 10 hours to plead my case at the appeals court. So I'm at $4,000 plus just to appeal the process. So really doesn't justify that means there. So that's why I'm here tonight, is just to kind of say, I think we need to relook at what the appraisal fee is or the assessment fee is, and then just make sure that it's fair and just, that you guys are realizing almost $1 million in savings, it sounds like, between some of the different areas on the projects, and the assessments are being adjusted accordingly. Thank you.
All right, anyone else?
I'll repeat again. My name is Leanne Jansen. I live at 2657 Christine Court. Two things I heard from the very beginning, rumor, I don't know if it's true or not, but you fired the first group of contractors. Is that true?
I don't know what you're talking about. Again,
No?
innuendos and rumors, we're not in that business.
I just want to make sure. And then secondly, we're talking about this $5,000, and I mean, I did get my letter in the mail like everybody else did. Tomorrow is the first day that you can pay through November 21st. Well, now you want us to pay for something that isn't even completed yet? Correct? I mean, normally you want the product.
But then you can wait. You can wait till then, if you want to pay it.
Well, and you,
The
well, Jen
project
was
will be
talking about
substantially
reassess.
done.
Just so we're clear, and Tom can clarify this, I think what you're talking about, Leanne, is the fact that you can pay for a certain period of time and avoid interest completely.
You have 1 month from starting tomorrow to November 21st.
Right, to pay for without
Yeah.
securing
So we
any
have all
interest.
these issues going on right now,
Oh.
and you want our money, and it's like, wait a minute, the project isn't even done, and we don't even know if it's going to be done yet. So you want my $5,000, and it's kind of like, really? Merry Christmas. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, if I can respond to that one. Yeah, by law, you have 30 days to pay off the assessment without any interest. That would start tomorrow. Then, after that, by law, we have to send anything that is unpaid to Ramsey County to put onto the taxes. I believe it's by November 15th now. They keep changing the dates on us. So that's why there's that period, because it's the only way we can do it.
Can you get the project done, please? That's all I got to say.
All right, anyone else?
Yeah. Again, Matt Keys would like to readdress again.
Okay, I'm only going to give you a couple minutes because we're starting to get redundant
Okay, I'll
here.
make it quick. Just got to agree with that gentleman over there. The project on Taylor Avenue was undercut, you got it for less. You're saying you're taking the extra money, you're still charging them. You're going to take it and spread it out to the township, which is great. But in his essence, he's getting taxed. I'm getting taxed more than the other guy on the street because I'm paying more taxes with my assessment and helping you all with that. You're giving the rest of the money instead of cutting their bills and reassessing it. You're spreading it out to the rest of the community, which is great and it'd be nice to do, but it's my money. I'll leave it at that.
Keep in mind that every project in the future, you will also benefit from as a citizen of the township from those reduced costs, okay? So you're getting that point.
All right, anyone else?
Lisa Love, 2649 Richard Drive. The benefit of the project. Really, what is the benefit? A lot of the sewer lifts were unnecessary. The mill and overlay, some areas weren't necessary. And as the inception of the project and the determination that the White Bear Beach Estates area and then the other people within that community needed new overlays and the driveways cut and all this other happy hoopla, when in fact the crews did their job and the scope of the work as they were told. The scope of the work was to lift, look, and see. If there was a rusty bolt that needed to be replaced, that was the case. Some of them, they were apparently already notified because they'd already been dealt with maybe 3 years ago. So the redundancy of the redundancy is, I think, really the underlying concern of a lot of people. And how the planning was established and the notification, and even the notification for this project, kind of was a short-lived thing, like, oh, by the way, and then you get more information to follow, and then we're responding now at the 11th hour to a project that, yeah, it's been going along, not completed. The crews out there, they've been informative if we have a chance to speak with them. And a lot of them, the crews, you get a lot of actual valid information, truth, as to what they're getting paid to do and why they're doing it. And yes, they got the contract, and so be it. But why was there a contract that was even being bid out on half of this stuff? Who made those determinations that we're just going to start redoing all these streets that still had some life in them and a lot of areas that didn't need anything?
I think we explained that all roads are graded. They're graded from 5 to 0. When they hit below 2, they come up for a redo. And some roads may be 1.8, some might be 2.1 in the same area. We're not going to just do the roads that are 1.8. That's not even feasibly possible to do spot on each road. So when an area comes up in that time range and that grading, the whole area gets done.
Well,
only makes-
encompassing the whole area, as you're saying, versus maybe one street that substantially is affected with drainage issues.
But we do borings on every street when we go into these projects.
Why?
So we know what, it's under the road, so we know
Just
the length
drive
of
on
the.
them and look at them.
No,
And what you're really saying, and I get you.
I can look at paint on a car, but I don't know if there's rust under it.
Hey, you know what? What you're really saying, and I heard what you said, it's this Rice Creek watershed, and yes, underground, and we're backed into sloughs and duck ponds, and the drainage issues, and what's sinking, and why is it sinking? And that's what you're boring the roads for, to find out, well, yeah, 37 years ago when most of these developments were being put in place with brand new roads, and the sewers and the water and the lift stations are what's sinking. And that's what drives this whole project. Let's just get clear on that. And that being said, I don't like the fact that I'm being assessed unnecessarily, and I had no drainage issues and no road issues. And I think a lot of people are just feeling that way.
Anyone else? All right, hearing none. I'm going to ask for a motion to close the public comment portion.
Did you say yes?
I said so moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, Larry, you obviously document all the concerns through this meeting, and then you and the on-site follow up on that? And that's part of your punch list, so we make sure that...
If people want to send me emails of specific issues, I'll forward it on to the construction team to get addressed.
Because like I said, obviously we're closing in, but these jobs, we try to tie them up by the end of the year. Some of the restoration might go till next year. Again, we don't pay the contractor till those things are done and the residents are satisfied. And that's the best we can do with that. So, weather permitting, it could all get done this fall. If the weather turns south, some of it might have to wait till next year. So we just ask for a little patience. I'll apologize if some of the stuff went rough. We do our best. We try to keep everybody informed of what's going on, what's on the website. TKDA tries to get their guys out there and notify people. And sometimes we're at the mercy of the contractor. If he doesn't relay to us what's happening, we can't relay to you. So if all of a sudden they change a date and don't get to us right away, that's out of our control. And granted, it doesn't look good because a lot of these guys want to get our work in the future. And from what I'm hearing, some of these guys will never work in the township again, so. But we appreciate your patience, and we do take this seriously. It's not going in one ear and out the other. We're residents here, so we understand. All right, that's my spiel. Got anything else, Steve?
No,
What I missed?
I'd like to echo the same thing. You know, we are all residents, and we all hear this, and we're all facing the same thing at some point. Some have been assessed, others are very close to heading in that process. And the disappointing part is the communication piece, and you know that doesn't go unnoticed. That's a conversation that we have with our consulting engineering firm, and with his project team, he would, I assume, follow up on that also. But it's all hearsay at this point because I wasn't part of it, nor was anybody sitting here, nor was Larry for the most part. But your points are well taken. You may not agree with our position, but it is the policy that we're following. So,
All right. Hearing that, I need a motion on the resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve a resolution adopting and confirming the assessments for improvements of 2024-4 for the Jenny Lane Area Street Improvement Project.
I'll second.
All right, motion's made and seconded, and all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? All right, thanks, folks. All right, we got to move on. Our last item is cabin 61. Is this something, Chad, you brought up?
Yes. If you don't mind.
We're going to have to ask you to we still have a meeting to continue?
Yep, the meeting is still going on.
No, yes.
Yes.
Look at it, please. No, you're right. I understand. No, it has to. There's a statutory procedure where don't get frustrated too. No, we understand. Because actually, I got the same assessment myself in my city. Okay? So I know the feeling. I know the feeling.
Thank you.
I know the feeling, okay?
Send us notes, though, when you're upset. We do like to hear from residents.
Hits me too, okay?
You know, nothing
I what
happens
you're-
in a vacuum. We
my
really
city,
do.
so I'm a
We really
citizen
do.
too.
We live here too.
Somewhere else, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. Trust me, I don't love it. You know, I didn't love my last city from Ramsey County.
For this position.
Oh, good.
I know. What the hell was I thinking? I know better.
No problem.
Yeah.
Says it all, doesn't it? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, can we continue?
Thank you.
Okay.
And I've had a dog fence.
It's
pretty
already
easy to fence.
past my bedtime.
Mr. Chair, okay, last week, the owners of Cabin 61 came to Dale.
Hang on a minute, I can't hear you.
You can shut.
Oh, you're Cabin 61? Hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
admire your
All right.
patience.
Yes.
Okay, start over.
Okay. The sewer that serves Cabin 61 actually runs through township property, a portion of it, a small portion. And there apparently is no easement we know of that allows for this sewer to exist. So, two things. They need to repair their sewer, but they can't enter township property without permission. So what I'm recommending to the board that you grant me the authority to draft up a license which gives them, how long are you gonna need?
4 hours probably.
Well, okay, let's give you a couple of days just in case.
Yeah.
Okay, so a license allowing them to access town property for approximately 2 days. You give us the time, give Dale the time frame. We'll draw it up. And so that way they're not trespassing on town property. They actually have the right to be there. It's a license that allow them to repair their sewer over this period of time.
Which side of the road is it on?
It goes under.
Can you want to come up to the mic so we get you on? Just your name and address first.
Tom Prentice, one of the husband of one of the owners of Cabin 61.
Okay.
Just a little history on it. Last year it backed up, and none of us knew where it went, so we got the Met Council out and with cameras and dived into the 48-inch sewer. So we go under the county road, under your property, under the railroad, into the lumberyard, and into the top of the 48-inch sewer, not even in the manhole. Nobody knew that it existed. So, and now, of course, it broke right where the railroad is. So the railroad's given us permission to fix it. We've been shut down since last Thursday.
That's all gravity fed?
Yes.
Oh. Do you know about this, Dale?
I learned last Thursday from Tom in the afternoon.
And I want to commend you, Dale. Thanks for, I mean, I've been driving crazy on the phone calls because, every day it's killing us. And we've got shower trailers for all the tenants because we have 13 units. And so we've got temporary toilets. The challenge, Chad, is we've got, the railroad has said that Wednesday they would stop traffic and get out there and allow us to fix it. So,
Well, here's the problem. I got a trial starting around 9 o'clock. Before I go to the trial, I'll drop a license, have it over there. But see, here's the deal. I can't sign it on behalf of the township, neither can Dale. The town board has to approve it because only the town board has authority to grant that license. That's why we're doing it tonight.
but isn't there a law that if you've been using something for 10 or 20 years that it's
No. Well, there is a law. It's called adverse possession. However, adverse possession does not apply to municipalities. That's been the law since the last century, actually statutory. Oh, and that's why we're doing the license,
Yeah.
so you can do it.
But can we get it done by Wednesday? 'Cause
Like I said, before I go to the trial tomorrow, I'll draft the license up, and someone's gonna have to prove it because I'm not gonna be there. But we'll get it out, and as long as the board authorizes the town clerk, Pat, and the town chair, Ed, to sign it, we can get it ready. And I presume that even if it's not signed, you can still go ahead and do it. Okay, but no, we understand your problem, and we're doing it, but we gotta do it this way.
what do you need me to do?
Nothing, really. Well, actually, we do need something from you. As part of the license, there'll be an exhibit showing where the sewer line runs. You're gonna have to give us that exhibit, right, Dale?
Yeah, and drop a legal description for the easement.
Yeah.
I don't have a legal description, but I have an aerial view that I drew it in with the cleanouts.
Well, I don't know. if
That'll
that's
work for the license, but
for the
eventually.
license,
For
but-
long term, I'll do it and I'll get it surveyed and we'll do it.
Yeah.
Right.
The license only gonna allow you to repair it. Theoretically, you're still trespassing on township property. I don't think the town is going to force you to get an injunction forcing you to tear your sewer out at the moment. But yeah, we'll have to follow it up with an easement. But but an easement will require a survey showing exactly where it is, okay?
I understand. And
Did-
Dale went through that with me yesterday.
Did you camera that or not?
We did. And what happened is we actually, it was flood, and we have a jetter because we've been having trouble with it. And then we couldn't clear it. We hired a company to come out. They got their jetter stuck because the pipes broke and it went outside the pipe. We ran a camera down and then they tagged it right next to the railroad.
Okay.
So
Right.
we'll probably repair that, and we'll probably then do a liner because it's old, and, that new technology,
What size pipe is it?
4-inch.
Doesn't take much to plug a 4-inch pipe.
Yeah.
All right, so Chad, what you need out of us is a motion to,
Authorize Patrick Christopherson and Edward to, I'm sorry, it's late, Edwin, to execute a license allowing Cabin 61, by the way, you're going to have to get us the correct corporate name too. Well, do me a favor, just, I'll give you a card, send me an email, because, I can't remember all this stuff. And we'll get, and so the license will simply allow you, give you a week, just be safe, to go in, enter township property for the purpose of repairing your sewer. And then after that, we'll have to follow up with a permanent easement.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
all right, motion's made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Well, you have one happy customer.
That's nice.
Yeah, we're batting about 2.
Yeah, sure, I think I have an extra one with you.
All right, that concludes our agenda. Open time. Now you can
Been so patient.
shoot on us again. Name and address, please.
Greg Buchanan, 2720 Silver Fox Road. And I was,
Yeah, I'm just gonna write it out for you.
I was curious about how these road projects are going.
Well, I do have business cards, I just must have run out of them.
We don't have any sewer, we don't have any water. I'm sure Dale, Larry, are there any updates or anything that are going on? Because we haven't heard anything
Yeah, no,
regarding that. And I kind of came in here tonight just to see how things are going. I was a little surprised, to be honest. But anyway, here we go. What do you have anything for Silver Fox?
not at the moment. We have to get back to that and take that next step and look at systems, septic systems, and wells.
Chad Lemons at KellyandLemons.com.
Larry, I thought we had sent out some folks to inspect.
Yeah, everything's lowercase. There's no hyphens or dots between names. Everything's lowercase.
If we're interested in
No. That's actually meant to be lemons. Yeah, sure, no problem.
and water. And I live at the end of the block, and all the water comes down the hill. And I pointed out, we get some water saturation and all. I put in some landscaping that kind of controls some of the water at the end of the street as well. And I think this project's, I'm not gonna take much time here because you guys got a lot on your plate. But I think this project's gonna need a little extra help, and I think maybe the DNR and the watershed be involved with it as well, because that water runs down the hill where I live. And I've fixed some of the erosion, but as that water hits, it's eroding the hill as it goes into the wetland. And I've spoken to DNR, because DNR go to my property to do mosquito surveys. So they come at the end of the block and they walk down and they hit the wetland. A day later, you get the helicopter up there controlling bugs, which is great. And but I think that we need to look at it, and I'm very. I think my property's kind of on the special side. You have to be a person that really likes wetlands where I live and enjoy the habitat and everything. That
And the
I get to
bugs?
experience every day. Yeah, you see bugs you never thought you'd ever see. But it's this part of the property. I've been there 20 years, and I love where I live. But I am a little concerned about some of the things I've heard tonight. But I'm just looking for some updates. And when you guys get it ready, it'd be great.
Yeah, so the adding or extending sewer and water to that, to those properties wasn't really part of on our radar, and we evaluated with the feasibility report. We found out there was interest in that, and we pulled Silver Fox and pieces of Jenny Lane out of the project. Again, it wasn't something planned, this project, so we haven't had the resources yet to evaluate and get that next step going, to communicate with you, discuss with the neighborhood, and get some professionals out there to look at the septic systems. So
That's slated for next year, isn't it?
it's gonna be, I kind of, when we talked about this spring, it was like, this is gonna be a multi-year process, because we're gonna try to apply for some grants. And some of those
Oh, that's
grants
right. Yep, I saw that.
will take some time to,
That's why the north half of Jenny Lane and that area,
Yeah.
Silver Fox was pulled.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Richard, from, where Richard ends, and goes down to Silver Fox, runs up to Portland, there's no sewer, there's no water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What it is. Anyway, enough said, thank you. You guys had a rough night.
Thanks, Greg.
Have a good night. everybody.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
You make our lives miserable, Val? You make our lives miserable now, Val? I'll come back and talk to you.
All right. If that's all for open time, I need a motion to receive agenda materials and supplements.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I need a motion to adjourn at 9:31.
So moved.
Second.
What if I don't want to?
Yes, you do.
That's your bedtime.
We're
You better
adjourned.
want it.
Way past.
You said it's bad.